what do you do if you're in the market to buy something really fun to drive? If you want something 6-speed manual, or just so fun in the twisties and just to accelerate your driving experience each time you get behind the wheel, well, you have some options. The MX5 has always been the answer. You ask any MX5 enthusiast and they'll say the MX5 can literally do anything. But can it? Well, it's got the famed recipe with the rear wheel drive, 6-speed manual and the big convertible roof, so you can always drive while experiencing the best weather. But there's also now a very formidable rival in the likes of the Honda Civic Type R. I know the base MX5 starts at roughly 35,000. This is only one all-out variant at 50,000. But as spec, this RF GT with the Grand Sport is also 50k. So which is the best car for your 50k? A fun, compact convertible or a track-prepped hot hatchback? But there's only one way to find out. Actually, you know what? Let's do a coin toss on which I drive first. Civic Type R it is. So the Civic Type R up front. This has a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine, produces about 310 horsepower, front wheel drive, 6-speed manual, and it also has a limited slip differential just like the MX5. This also has super grippy Michelin Pilot Sports and 265 section tires all around. That's one of the widest tires I've seen in any car. In fact, if I'm not wrong, the Huracan has 235 or 225 up front. This has 265. So you know this car is serious business. Anyhow, so now that the numbers are done, let's drive it. So you have this super cool aluminum gear knob, which is just a throwback to the older Type R Hondas. But yeah, we slot it. And I am currently in comfort mode and everything is dialed down. Everything is super comfy, and you do have these amazing racing buckets as well, which just hold you in like a leech. It just doesn't let you move. No matter how hard you drive or how hard you push the car, you don't move. I mean, I can put it into plus R mode and everything just becomes tighter. I can feel the suspension becoming tighter. I can feel the steering becoming tighter. I can feel the throttle response becoming tighter. And there's lots of pumped in noise, but there is some exhaust noise, but there's lots of pumped in noise as well. So if I floor it, oh my god, this is so fast. And so that beep was because I hit the rev limiter. But wow, this car is so exhilarating. I almost forgot how good it was. I drove one last year. As you can see, I'm bouncing around because the suspension is so stiff. Whoa, and the brakes are so spot on. I realized I was going too fast. And it has the auto rev match as well, which can be turned off through the screen, no physical button. But oh my god, this car is brutal fast. You almost forget how fast it is. Being a front wheel drive, it is still very tricky to launch, and the traction control doesn't fully turn off either. So launching this car is very much of a challenge. But once you're just driving like this, and even in this plus R mode, the steering is so heavy, so direct, so weighty. You just want to drive this car fast everywhere. You honestly just can't drive this car slow. Let me just dial it down back into comfort, and everything just calms down. The steering becomes much lighter. The suspension becomes a bit more tolerant of the road surface. Oof, I've forgotten how good this car is. I drove the Type S in between, so I did get a mild reminder, but I feel like this drives better than the Type S. I don't know if that makes sense, because even though mechanically it's mostly the same car, but this feels more dialed in, more ready to push the corner at all time. And it's honestly, this thing masks speed so well as well that you are driving way above the speed limit most of the times if you're not keeping an eye on the speedometer. It's just such a beautiful car, such a beautiful car. Oh, I'm just out of words. And if I drive it sanely like this, I can get roughly 7.58 liters on the highway, or like 8 liters to the 100 kilometers. And in the city, I've been driving very aggressively because I want to hear the exhaust and just the whole surge that this car has in plus R mode. And I've been getting 9.5 10 liters, which is really not that bad. The tank is quite small, so it's about 42 or 45 liters, so you don't get too much range on the highway, but that's fine. And this also runs on 87. It's not recommended, but it works, so it's not a deal breaker. But yeah, it's such a beautiful car to drive, and one car, the Miata, will find it hard to topple, honestly, because it's just so good. And I've just had so much fun. Like, I just love the Type R. Every time I drive it now, and I'm just so much in love. When I floor it, I mean, this is in comfort mode, and it still pulls so well. And the shifter, oh, the shifter is so fine. The MX5 has slightly a notchy gear shift. This is just perfect. One finger, look at this. Whoa, done. Just so beautiful. What a car. Chef's kiss. What a beautiful car. I'm now in the MX5 after driving the Civic, and you can see it's much more cramped, and getting into the MX5 was a bit of a challenge as well compared to the Civic. But yeah, still six-speed manual rear wheel drive, 2-liter naturally aspirated petrol engine, produces 181 horsepower, 1.1 ton in weight, rear wheel drive, limited slip differential. It's got all the perfect recipe. So is it better than the Civic? Let's find out. Let's launch it. If I put it to first and slide it. Oh, it puts the power down so well, and it's so punchy. So that 0 to 100 is done in 6.1 seconds, which is honestly really not that bad. It puts the power down so well. It's so light, and it doesn't have earth-shattering power or torque, so you don't lose traction in any way. The Civic can be a bit of a pain to launch at times and put the power down, especially in first and second gear on wide open throttle. The MX5 is not that. You can floor the MX5 in any situation. I'm in mid corner right now, and I floor it. Nope, I'm not scared in any way. The MX5 just drives so well, and it's not scary. That's the main thing. You can use the power everywhere. Like, when I say everywhere, literally everywhere you can enjoy this car. It's just such a joy to drive, and I've just had so much fun in every scenario I've been driving this car for the week. And I think this is where it trumps over the Type R. The Type R can have too much power for most situations. This is just appropriate, and you can enjoy the power while enjoying the sky. That experience is unmatched, and for the price point, it's really very tough to say anything against it, because the Civic doesn't even have a sunroof. This has the sun as the roof. It's just such a beautiful experience, and it's nice and unique in its own way. It's not as grippy. It's not the ultimate track weapon the Type R is from the factory. Yes, the MX5 does have lots of aftermarket support, but it's not like that from the factory, like how the Type R is so dialed in. It's a bit wallowy, it's soft, and fuel economy wise, it's almost as same as the Type R. It gets roughly 6.57 liters on the highway, and in the city I've been getting about 8.59, which is better than the Civic, but not too much better. But yeah, what can I say? Both cars are just beautiful to drive. The MX5, the steering feel and everything, it's just so perfect, and you can just hunker the car down in a corner and you know that the car will stick, and the tail might step out a little bit. And now that it has the dynamic traction control as well, you can have a bit more fun than you used to in an MX5. Oh, it's a tough pick to choose which is the better one. In conclusion then, well, what do you choose? I personally would choose the Civic Type R because that suits my driving style a bit more. It's a bit more hunkered down. It makes me look like a much better driver. But I do understand why the MX5 is so popular as well. And if I wasn't so focused on the track part, the MX5 would be my choice, because as a daily it's much more livable, the suspension is better, and obviously you can put the roof down whenever you want. But also there is no real winner. The real winner is the enthusiast, the customer, because they have such fine choices. The MX5 with its rear wheel drive package, the Civic Type R with its front wheel drive, such poise, driving dynamics, the Golf GTI, the Golf R, the GR86 BRZ twins, so many nice cars. Also the GR Corolla, and as I said, the list just goes on and on. And in this day and age, I feel as a customer, as an enthusiast, we are just lucky to have these cars. We shouldn't really fight this car is better, that car is worse. I feel all cars are welcome, and in a day that car makers are downsizing and making cars softer, we still have these beautiful cars and we should just celebrate them. What can I say? I know this is not the conclusion you wanted to hear because it's a very generic ending, and I personally would choose the Type R, but we as the enthusiasts should just celebrate all the fun cars we have on sale because they might not be on sale for too long.